Growing up, I knew that people were different than what I was taught. I had friends that were girls and hated playing with Barbies, and I knew boys that did not like sports. Of course, then that did not mean much to me. However, recently one of my close friends came out as transgender and is going through gender transition. This brought me to question my belief that I never really addressed or even thought about much. From my family and society, I implicitly learned that boys wear blue and are tough and athletic, while girls wear pink and are fragile and kind. However, in my life I witnessed people and my friends acting out of those characteristics that were predestined by society's ideologies. I believe that everyone has a right to control their decisions about sexual and gender identity and has the power to defy gender roles. Gender is a cultural construct created to make sense of biology and gender. Before we are even born, people begin to ask, is it a boy or a girl? They ask to know whether to buy the baby boy or girl clothes. Blue became the symbol for a boy, and pink was the symbol for girls. People also tend to give babies different toys depending on their gender. My parents always ask a couple what gender their baby is before a baby shower, to know whether to buy a toy truck or a dress-up doll. From my parents I learned that every gender had its specific characteristics and they had to perform a certain way to prove their gender. My parents grew up in Mexico, in a not-so-liberal town, as opposed to me who grew up in a highly liberal area in California. Watching movies and television also shaped my idea of gender from seeing a damsel in distress to seeing a toy truck commercial without any girls. Everything I knew was that boys and girls were two opposites that complete each other. Intersexuals were never mentioned to me in my childhood, nor were they apparent on television or movies. I developed my belief by experiencing the pressure of gender roles and seeing others break the mold. My mother would scold me not to grab clothes from the men's section at the store. My teacher told my friend to stop chatting with the girls and to go play basketball with the boys. All of these experiences and more made me develop a rebellious idea that we can break the mold and embrace whatever gender identity we liked. We can have a spectrum of characteristics and behavior that can range between masculine and feminine. On some days I like to wear an oversized superhero shirt with Converse, and on some days I like to wear a dress and heels. It would never have to be one way or the other, like my parents want it to be. My parents enforced that I should dress like a lady and do the chores of the house. For them, it was not ideal that I was performing characteristics from both gender. However, my story is less significant than those that go through gender transition and the struggles that come with it. I only knew my own struggles with gender roles and fitting into society's view of gender identities. If I told someone my story, they would just assume I was a tomboy growing up. However, the issue is much larger than we think. When my friend came out as transgender, and I told my family, the first thing my dad told me was, "You made him like this because you would make him play Barbies with you." Because society has constructed this black and white stereotype of gender, gender transition becomes harder to explain and understand. There's more to the story of gender than the boy likes blue and the girl likes pink. As more intersexuals voice their opinions and experiences, the more stories we have to shape an understanding of gender identities. I believe that we can all decide for ourselves how we act and control our decisions about our own sexual and gender identity. If we act outside of our biological sex, that will be okay. Because gender is a spectrum that has been defined by society to mean something else through symbols and categories. Gender is merely a cultural construct, not an idea set in stone.